Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. This is Connie with Prairie Paper Crafts, coming on today to share with you a paper piecing set. Actually, it'll be just I think it's bunny number 5 that I'm working on. But this is a set from Marjorie Ann Designs. These are the 2 pieces I have done so far. It's called Snow Bunny. Just thought I would share with you quick. And before I get too involved, I want to welcome all my new subscribers. I want to thank everyone for my previous subscribers for joining me. You guys have all been awesome, so kind, and just appreciate everybody so much. Thank you. So what I'm going to tell you, I cut these. I'm cutting all of the pieces as they come into the size at Cricut Design Space. Maybe a little bit big for some, but I sometimes cut my pieces too small. This is designed for a 2-page 12 by 12 scrapbook layout. And often I cut my pieces too small, so I'm leaving them as they came in. This piece, I used the Therese Snowflake. It doesn't have a name, it's just a snowflake embossing folder. The paper was not solid core, and it turned out to be okay, just because some of the white is showing through, maybe not so much on the file, but on the snowflakes and stuff, so it worked out really well. It looks more like snow. And then on my snowballs and a few places, I'll be adding some glitter. I just want to wait till it's all done to do that, till all my pieces are done, so I can just get the glitter out once and do it that way, because I'll be using loose glitter. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. I have inked the edges of my pieces. If you're interested in any inking videos, please leave a comment and I will try to do more. But for me, just to give you an idea, I learned just by doing. I could show you, but a lot of it is just trial and error. I'll just get a piece of the brown. I have and I have a few color names for you, by the way, but I'll just use it as an example for a scratch. Take whatever ink you have and just practice a little bit. Find some colors that work for you, and just practice some. Each piece of paper, the cardstock, like this is American Crafts. It's baked brown sugar. I know the yellows ink differently. It's just a thing with yellow paper. I don't care where I get it from. Even if it's textured, it still takes ink a little differently. Yellows and pinks are hard for me. I'll be very honest, to get colors that I like to match. That's why I say just practice. Um, I do use 2 different colors of ink minimum. I use a color that this is a bad piece to show you. Let me get you a different one, because this is just the outside. It's not going to show anywhere. So it's pretty much a rough chalking design. So I have some color on the outside. But what I do is I use a color that's lighter on the inside and matches the paper more, and then darker on the outside. And the camera is picking up a really bad job of inking because it does not show in real life all the little feathered stuff. It's all blended into the paper. It's really weird. I don't know if it'll show better, but it does once you see it in real life versus this close on camera. It's way different. So it comes all together. And then what I was going to share with you, if I can find my tweezers, is my nose. What I do here, I use this is extremely old. I used to quilt, and I think I had it even then. I can't hand quilt, but I can do it by machine. I just don't sew anymore because I don't have any control over the foot pedal. I can't do that. So, but this is just hand quilting thread. This is like a cream color, as you can see. And then I have black, and I have like a light smoky gray. I chose to do the cream on this because the muzzle is more of a cream color. And if I had done a gray, it would show up quite too much. It would actually be way too dark. So I kind of look at that, and then black one, it would have just been, wow, way too dark. Um, so of my printed paper, I think it's my pattern paper, I should say, like this. All of my pattern paper, I believe, is from Doodlebug Designs, 6x6 pads. One is like a gingham colors. It's gingham colors. Oh, my fingers are awful today. Sorry, I've been inking and inking. Um, and then the other one is like a winter set, but the fronts of my paper pads sometimes come off and then they're gone. So I don't know which set it is. Uh, it's got some little snowmen on the back of the stripes, and this one it's just got, this is from a gingham set. So that's what I have for that. And oh, and for the mouth, just to give you some ideas real quick what I did. I had the Cricut draw this on with the pen, black pen, and then I colored in with the marker. I used a 02 micron pen, and that's what I colored that in with. Give me just a moment. I'm going to try to get my hands cleaner. Sorry about that. Sort of doing dishes. Sometimes it's hard to get them clean. Okay, other color pieces. This is American Crafts Blush. This is, I don't know, American Crafts. I don't know if it's not really pumpkin because it's a lot lighter than what it shows once I inked it. So I'm not positive. I don't do color swatches or anything, and I don't buy it. I just go with what I have. I kind of know some of the colors, though. This is basil. It's from their smoothie or smooth line. I, I don't know if it's light walnut cream. That sounds familiar. Um, but that's the color I'm going with for the muzzles, and it just seemed to work because this color is a little bit lighter. I didn't have almond cream, basil almond cream. Had I had that, I would have used that for my bunnies, and so it would have been just a little bit lighter. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I work whatever works for me, so I put the back pieces on first. I had a question about this and this. This is from Honeybee Stamps. It's a 3D printed glue holder. It works for Nouveau drops also. Once you take the lid off, it works even like this. It'll sit in there fine. And then this is Precision Tip Glue Be Creative. It's from Honeybee Stamps. It's just their line of glue. The only reason I tried this is I got some fine line applicator bottles. I got two of these. I don't know if I can get it off. Maybe I can. I've had this before with these. You see that glue on the end? It just will just ooze and ooze and ooze out of there. So yeah, I don't use those. I have this one, and this is a fine line tip, a fine line bottle too. This is an 18 gauge. The other one is, I think, a 22. Well, when I saw this from Honeybee, I thought, I was pretty sure I wanted a glue stand, right? Holder. And I thought, I'm going to try the glue. Because just looking at the bottle, I thought very possibly the end might come off. This tip will pop out. I can refill these. So it would, and the glue works really nice. I really do like the glue. But I just thought I would explain what I was using. I have, let's see, I just finished off a bottle of Gorilla Glue, not Gorilla Glue, good grief, Reptile Glue. And I bought a bottle of, I don't want that one first. I want the other one. I bought a bottle of Barely Art Glue. And the only reason I bought that, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm sure I haven't tried it yet. But it was a little cheaper than Art Glitter and Barely Art. Or, excuse me, than Reptile. So that's why I got that. Now, another trick I can share with you is if you don't press these down, these lights are kind of bright, so it's hard to see. If you don't press it down real hard first, you can move this around. And I found that with all the glue I use. It doesn't matter what kind it is. And then I like to, if I can find it, in a different area than I usually work. Bear with me a moment to get that on to cover up his leg in there. Now I'll come back where if I'm happy where it's at, then I come back and either use my fingers or my little baby bone folder or Cricut bone folder thing, and then I press it down. And then it's not going to come up. Otherwise, you still should be able to move it around a little bit if you just kind of lightly put it on there. Just a little tip because quite often I think, like there, I thought I had it where I wanted it. Yeah, it just moved a little bit, but I see it wasn't, so. And if you've watched my channel for very long, you know I struggle with my eyes really bad. So, throw my glasses off, I put my glasses on, I think I have 4 different pair of glasses that have just slightly different prescriptions, and neither one is just right. Now, about these ears, it's very difficult to tell, okay? And I have to play with them a little bit when I put them on. These two are just slightly wider toward the bottom or the middle than these two, okay? These two go on first. And the next thing is you got to kind of figure out where they fit in here. And, they don't go all the way to the top, by the way. I don't know if you can see, there's a tiny bit of a indentation here. You probably can't see it on camera, maybe better on this one up here, right about there. But anyway, yeah. It takes me a while to get these on so they're covering everything. And you can also look from the back. I'm going to put them up just a little bit. And let's turn it just a smidgen. Okay. And I apologize. I have rotten fingernails. I have very, very poor circulation, and so my fingers are always a mess. At least they're normal color today. I'm happy about that, as cold as it is. They get cold and they turn purplish red. Just like the last, from the middle knuckles up. It's beautiful. I thought one time I was seeing things until the physical therapist looked at my hands and he he said, "Oh my God," and he started laughing. I said, "Oh yeah, this is normal." It was funny. And the other thing I do with my pieces, even if I'm going to cut them the same or assemble them the same day, I'm a baggie girl. I keep my pieces in baggies like this, and I mark the back when I take them off with the pencil. You can erase it, you don't have to. I had a cat for years when I owned my house before I moved. Oh, she got sick, but she pretty much ruled the roost, and she loved to anything that was loose. If I'd put it just in a container or let it lay downstairs on the table before I got it put together, you never knew where things were going to be. It's normal. I was living at my parents' for a short time in between selling one house and buying another. And I came home from work one afternoon or later in the day to work, and my mom she just had this awful look on her face. I thought, oh no, what happened? At that cat get into now? And she said, well, maybe you look at your don't want to look at your dolls too soon. I have I used to sew a lot, and I made some cloth dolls, and then I purchased hair and put the wigs on, and they were part human hair. It wouldn't have mattered to her, the cat, but anyway, I went up and I looked at my dolls, and I was just livid. I had a doll with beautiful, beautiful pipe curls. I don't know if you know what they are. They're just ringlets. Well, they weren't ringlets anymore. It looked like she'd stuck her finger in a light socket and fried her hair. It was it wasn't even like an afro type haircut look. Look, it was it was just literally it looked like you hadn't washed your hair for months. I mean, it was just a first disaster. What she does, or used to do, is she did it just with the sewing machine thread and the serger thread. She would take a fingernail or one of her claws, and she would just literally strand by strand. So, like the thread, strand by strand, she would either use her teeth or her claw. I swear she flossed her teeth that way. But anyway, yeah, she made a huge mess. She, we used to have to cover all of the sergers and everything. My mom had one too, and because she would just, the thread would be, you just cut it off basically and try to start over. It was so bad. I mean, it was just, and she had a thing for fire. My dad had a workshop, and he would burn a lot of candles. Imagine that, a workshop burning candles, all the sawdust. But anyway, she used to love to put her paws in the flame and flicker, back and forth. She was just an interesting cat. Heat did not bother her. You could have the oven, we'd always leave the door open for a while in the winter if we were baking, and that didn't bother her. She'd just go up and touch the oven door even right after you open it. I mean, this is also the cat that loved anything hot and spicy. When I had her declawed, oh, I wanted to share something with you here real quick. There's going to be a little spot down here. If I get it straight on the head, on both sides, the muzzle takes care of that, so it's meant to be that way. Anyway, when I had her declawed, just her front claws, I had quite a few plants, and the vet had told me just put some Tabasco sauce in the plants, or some hot pepper flakes. Okay, I got plenty of that. I did that. That did not help at all. She must have liked it because I'd come home dirt everywhere. I mean, it was just, oh, it was awful. And I found out that she really liked spices and stuff. I made chili one time, and I couldn't figure out what her problem was. Can't get this straight. Sometimes when it's a little bit bigger, I have a struggle. Anyway, I couldn't figure out what her problem was. I sat down, I was eating my chili, and she hopped up on my lap and she started eating out of my bowl. Now, I had another cat. Her thing was sweets. So I was just shocked when my cat was trying to eat my chili. She loved guacamole. I mean, canned pumpkin. I mean, she had a really weird palate. She just, oh, come on. I don't have, there's many problems when I'm going to turn it around. Maybe it's upside down. That's been known to happen. She just was a funny little kitten, her cat. She was the friendliest of the two, though the other one didn't like people, I swear. Yeah, that's a bit of what was wrong. It was basically upside down. I've found this before that you wouldn't think it would matter, but it does. So all else fails, flip things around. Well, just one quick second. Uh, Good grief. I should just. I could shut or turn my volume completely off and it will just not help, so I apologize. Okay, short of it ringing, we're gonna be good. Now, I'm going to. I'll just show you that's how that covers that up, so we're all good there. I'm just going to try to keep that held there. Now, one thing I did do, I redid the eyes just a tiny bit. I had to make the whites a little bit bigger, and then I didn't like how the black part of the right eye went together. So I took the left eye, once I got it how I wanted it, I grouped it in Cricut Design Space, I duplicated it, and then I flipped it horizontally. So then I got the opposite, and I got this piece. And so now I'm good with it. So in case you wonder, that's how I did it. And I know I got a little bit of a white spot there. I didn't quite get covered properly, so no worries. That's what black pens are for. And I'll do that right now, but first, since I'm going to be working on the eyes, I want to cover that up. Maybe wear my glasses, and I apologize if I have my head on top of the camera. I don't mean to, but I'm trying to see what I'm doing here. Had I not told you, you would have never known that was the case. Okay, now I'm going to bring in pan pastels to do the eyes. This is neutral gray, extra dark, and I do use these little eyelash things. I don't know, I get them off Amazon. If you don't have these, you can make a very tiny paintbrush work, like a mini watercolor brush. I want to say, is it -0.5? I forget how those numbers go. Oh, already I made a mess. I'll erase it quick here. I've used also a 1/8 inch shader brush. I used to use that. Oh, my fingers have pan pastels on them, I bet. Uh, trying to think what else I've used. I've used Q-tips. I've used pom-poms just for little pom-poms. So, yeah, there are a lot of things you can use. I'm one of those that if I can find something at home to use, I will, instead of running out and buying a lot of stuff. It's just what works for me. Now, I like pan pastels. I saw a video years and years ago, and I can't remember who had it, but that's where I learned about them. And like she said, they're low chalk, or low dust, excuse me, and they erase so nicely with a white eraser. I don't have good luck with any other colors, but on chalks I always use white. And I think I gotta erase some more pan pastels there. I'll bring in a different eraser though. Sometimes I make a huge mess with these things. And that's why I like my little baby eraser. Okay, just a second. So what would I do without my pencil? It's usually close by. I don't know what I'm doing wrong today. Everything is just not quite working properly. I have days like that. It's a lot of days like that. This isn't quite where I wanted it. I just keep going and eventually it all comes together. Now, what I'm going to do the eyelashes first. I'm using the Micron 005 and I'm going to see if I can get this to somewhat in camera. For this one, I'm doing short, long, and I'm doing them straight. I try not to hold the pencil real tight. I have a struggle with, or the pen, excuse me. I used to grip pens so tight that they would wrinkle, my handwriting wrinkles the paper. And I really didn't realize that until uh, someone mentioned it when I had carpal tunnel surgery that quit gripping the paper so tight, or the pen so tight. So, yeah, I've tried to learn to loosen up on that, but That's not easy to do when you've done it for so many years. And then I come around where the chalk is, and because these eyes are a little bigger, okay, I'm going to use a Micron 05 pen, and I just start either end, but basically where the chalk is. So, and I'm going to go backwards on this because I can get closer to the white of the eye. So where the chalk didn't hit, this will. And these poor little critters, I think they just look awful until you get the eyes done. And, the whole face done, I should say. Okay, we'll figure out if this is working. I have one pen that wants to work and one that doesn't. Of course, I pulled the one that doesn't. Let me try to find the other one. Let's see, one works better than the other, I should say. Now, today it's very cold. Yeah, this one works better. What I found is when I use the gel pens on top of, let's see if I can do this backwards for you, or better. I'm just putting a little circle here. Okay, maybe. I've found with my gel pens, when I won't be able to tell in here if it's going. Well, it looks like it should be. When I use them over colored pencils, and I've done some coloring or something, um, it picks up that wax and then they don't want to work real well. So, yeah. And I think that's probably what happened with the other one. But it is what it is. Okay. I use these for smaller parts. Sometimes I use my little mini blending brush. Sometimes I use these. It just depends upon what I want. If I have a small area that I want to highlight, I'll use these little blending brushes to pick things up to look at them. So I don't always use the same tool all the time, to give you an idea. Let me see. I'm going to put his hat on. There will be a cover over this, so not to worry. And then what I do is I mark the eyebrows where I want them with the pencil. I do these in 005 because I don't want them real dark. I I have a couple of brown color pens, but I don't like the look of them on here, so I don't use it. I do something else. Forgot what I was looking for. Oh, that's my other thing. I can't remember anything. Pretty bad. You can also do this with your eyelashes. If you're not comfortable, just draw them in with a pencil. And and then just erase it once you get it on. This is burnt sienna pen pastels. Like just the color. Um, and I come in with a little bit over his eyebrows, just to give him a little bit of a brown color, and kind of got carried away with that one. I don't like a lot on there, but it just kind of gives it a little bit of definition, I guess I'll say. It doesn't look like it's that dark. Now this one is just a little bit. Um, you can also get refills for these erasers. The Tombow, I can see it, Tombow Mono Zero. So that's really nice. Okay, cheeks. I use chalk, but I've also, and I still do, this is just an old set of chalk. The other one, big one I had, I managed to drop it. My fingers don't like to hold things, so you can. What I've done before is, and I'll get a sponge stopper out for the color. I don't want to use a different color. This looks darker. This is just a blending brush, small blending brush. This looks dark on the end because I'd used some other colors too. But I'm going to use this color. It's not as dark as it looks, but it's a pinkish color. I just dab it in there, and if it's not enough, put it in the ink, and I tap this back on, and then I will use it that way too. So just kind of getting it where I want, and it won't be real dark at first. I just keep kind of working at it. Now that didn't have a lot of ink on it, but that's still quite a bit of ink on his cheeks for me. So I'm just giving you some just different ideas that I do. You can also use pom-poms here or uh, the brush sticks, whatever works. I'm just using a little bit of chalk to just add a little bit of color here. I've used powdered blush, especially if it's going on a card because you know, most people don't keep them real long, other than my crazy sister. I have to look at these. I want just a little bit more color. I do my own thing. I think I mentioned before, I scrapbook and paper piece for myself. I do what I like, what works for me. And I always tell other people, do what works for you. Use what you have. If you want to go out and buy a lot of things, hey, good for you. Please do. I mean, that's great. I just don't. I just never had that luxury really, so it's all good. I don't get too excited about things like that. Okay, so when I put this on, I'm going to have to fix an eye here just because it doesn't show, which is fine. Uh, it's all good with me. This muzzle, you would probably never know it through colors. I used, what is that color from Close to My Heart? I have to look. I've got it close. shortbread is the first color. And then around the outside, I used vintage photo. Excuse me, vintage photo. And that's why I say experiment with colors, because you'd never know. Never ever. I would have never guessed those were the two colors that put that together. So I'm gonna put his hat. I'm gonna put his nose on first. Um, yeah, and just on. Let me see what's. I forget that I have to put a scarf up underneath of here, so I just want this so it can get up there a little bit. Yeah, we'll be fine. I forget what I'm doing when I'm talking, so now I'm trying to get this as straight as possible, horizontally, and then kind of centered between his nose, or between his eyes. And then these are Luminance Candy Ash colored pencils. This is Burnt Sienna. And I'm going to go up instead of down so I can get it. I'm just doing it faintly. I don't want a real dark color, okay? So in case you're wondering, excuse my reach. Got all these pieces yet to work on. I'm going to put his hat on. That's another thing I failed to mention in with the hats and the scarves. If when you look at the pattern, there's a bunch of other pieces, like one had zigzags, this one's got a bunch of stripes going across, and then the scarf has pieces for the stripes and stuff. The pink on this one has a bunch of circles everywhere. Those pieces are all with the file, okay? I don't like cutting pieces that small, and so my workaround for that is using pattern paper. I did change some of this up, and on this one I'm using a different color for the scarf, obviously uh, from the hat. But I'm okay. And then even on the ends of the hat, I'm using the flip side of this. I don't know if you can, yeah, I see on the back the little blue. Just things that work for me because I get those whiskers trimmed. I sometimes I don't do well, cutting the pieces isn't as major as uh, attaching them. Even like on the snowman's head, that piece for his mouth is a file that is, or it's part of the file. You can cut it out in black. I cut it out. Yeah, I didn't have good luck with it, so which is not unusual with me in black. So that's why it's a different color. Trying to get this somewhat straight on there, so these are, you know, a little bit more even. So, sorry, I talk too much. I know. Um, trying to think of some other things that I can think of to share with you. I don't paper piece in a great order. I'll tell you that. I always put the back pieces on and then I work however. I just, Oops, I got glue on there already. Okay, I'm going to clip these whiskers. I thought I had everything I needed, but apparently I didn't. Now I gotta cut that little bit of fray off. And see how uneven these are. Okay, now I'll show you quick how I make the whiskers too. It's quite simple. Even though they're glued on, you can still move them around. It's just the strangest, craziest thing. They're pretty close. Bunnies have long whiskers. We used to raise rabbits. With the thread, all I do is I usually make them longer so I can cut them off. But I'm just taking a piece. Ugh, freaking cold in here. My hands don't want to work. I just loop it like this. I loop it back over. And then I would just cut it here. Glue it to the back of the piece on the nose. So you've got these loops, which I had. Do this so you can see better. Cut it off here again, and then I will just, like I said, just use this little circle. I would just glue it on the back of the nose piece, and then when I attach my nose, like now, I just cut those loops, just slice them, and then uh, trim them how they, where they go. So let me look at something, please. I just want to make sure that this is, yep, get all the right pieces. Okay, so this is going under here. Okay, and I'm gonna look real quick. Oh, I guess not. I'm just gonna put let's see how I want these to go on. These are the pieces for the scarf. I think this one went on over here. Almost positive. That's how I'm putting them on. My thinking is so that it's not in the way of the snowman. So I just glue those. These go underneath the scarf. So I'm just kind of going to see where I want them. I might want them down a little bit. Yeah, I do. So more like this. Sorry about that. It's supposed to snow again today. I can tell it's getting cloudier out. We just had 10 or 11 inches, and now they're talking another 2 to 7. And then it's supposed to get very cold and bitter cold and windy. When I say bitter cold, I'm talking like 40 below with the wind chill. So it'll be a nice weekend into next week. Okay, that works good. Now I want to glue this down some, and I just kind of put a line glue going down and then across a little bit to hold it. And then this arm I'm going to put behind this way. Well, not quite that far. I'll just glue it and show you. It doesn't want to move the way I want it to. And if you are older like I am, a little of this glue, well, any of the newer glues, it goes a very, very long way. So you don't need a lot. So this one, I'm going to wait to put that on till I get my snowman together, okay? And also with the snowman, the eyes and the buttons of the nose, the buttons of the nose, the buttons of the body all come with it. So you can cut all of that. I'm not doing that. I'm going to do something a little different. I'll show you. Um, I don't feel like getting my little black or white buttons out. I could color them, but with a Copic or another alcohol marker, but I'm not going to. Now this is a snowman. This is where I changed this up. This had a little bit too. Oops, I remember seeing this goes on the front. Um, so again, I didn't feel like cutting all the little strips and everything out for him. It was just easier to cut it with striped paper or whatever pattern paper you want to use. Now, I noticed this when I was inking. This is not perfectly round. Yay! It looks more like a snowball body. It's not, uh, it just looks more realistic, as my great nephew would say. So, I was thrilled to see that. Little things make me happy, guys. I'm putting his head on a little bit crooked so he's looking up at the bunny. I want to put this down for now. Part of that snowball has to be showing. Fish garbage out of the way. I think that pom-pom, yeah, that pom-pom doesn't show. Okay, so now I'm just trying to think how I want this hat on. I think pretty much straight. Just a tiny bit off. And you're still hanging in there with me. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm a very slow paper piecer. Things just have to be so for me. Isn't that terrible? I just crazy. Okay, putting the nose on before I do anything with his eyes. Guess I didn't need glue all the way to the end of that, but it's all good. I'm putting this at an angle, just again to give it some dimension. I will find, let's see, this is good. Well, let's see if it's got any color in it. Maybe a little bit. I just want a little bit of, yeah, I don't want too much color on his cheeks, but he needs just a little. Because I don't know if this is ink or if it's chalk. I don't want to do too much because I can't take it off if it's ink. Okay, now put the lid on the glue for a moment. I'm gonna just pause the video a moment. Be right back. Okay, so what I'm doing for his eyes, I'm going to be using uh, the Sakura glazed pen. It's in black. But before I apply that, I want to put his eyes on where I kind of think I want them. Just gonna draw those in. They don't have to be, dark or anything. And I always test my gel pen. Um, Sometimes it gets caked on or something and I don't want a glob somewhere. I will not be putting any dots on his eyes, just leaving it like that. I will do his nose, just a little bit of highlights. But that's it. I'm not going to put, I don't think, any white in there. I might. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. Coming back again with my pencil and black everywhere here. This just helps me to know where I want my Nouveau. This is Crystal Drops in Gloss Ebony Black. I don't know where I bought them because I buy these from different places. I'm assuming this is still available. I couldn't tell you for sure because some colors have been disconnected, or disconnected. But I'm just using these. I don't have the best control with this. The black, it's kind of like the yellow paper. I just have to struggle with it. Um, so that is all I do for that. I'm going to glue him and the bunny down, and I have a few finishing touches then. And let's put him on, well, no. To get this the bunny somewhat straight, I'll try to keep that down. And I'm just putting some glue along the bottom here. Trying to keep my hands out of the Nouveau drops and get this straight. Okay, I knew I shouldn't have put the Nouveau drops on yet. I should have waited till I got this arm down. I'm just gonna go by guess and by golly and not press it down yet. Just put a little bit of glue on here. Kind of see where I want it to go. I think it's gonna be okay there. Yep, we're gonna go with that. So, glue here, some glue there, and a little bit of glue along the bottom. Let's put a little bit of glue on here instead. It's not going to take a lot. Because you've also got the top of the pom-pom holding it. I just put a little up here, just because it's going to go on the hat some. Trim straight. Okay, so I didn't need any on the nose. Now, that's all I do to my eyes. I do nothing further. Let me glue this snowman down just a little bit better on the side here. Before I get done, I'll end up remaking the snowman because my fingers will get in the glue, Nouveau drops, I'm sure. I am using Nouveau glitter drops in Enchanting Pink. You see that very well. I don't know if it probably won't pick it up very good for you, but and I'm putting that on his nose. Make sure it starts there again. I don't want a big glob somewhere. Once it dries, then I come back and put a layer of glossy accents or whatever I have clear glaze to put on it. But that is my finished. Oh, nope. I gotta add some gel and or white gel pen and highlights. Duh. Like I said, doing this on camera is always an interesting challenge. Let's see. You do this. A little bit on his hat. I love Doodlebug Designs paper. It's just got so much bright color to it. It just, yeah. Okay. Uh, let's see. Again, I thought I had everything out. I knew I should have taken my uh, other brush, but I didn't think I would need it, and I can, never find it when I want it. Not over there. It's, no, it's not it. Goodness gracious. How I can lose things is beyond me. I think because I don't use it. Oh, well, this isn't what I want, but that's what I'm going to use. I have a mini blending brush. Hmm. And this big canister of where things, it's kind of small things get lost in it, so we'll just go with this. It might even be, no, it's not out here. I'm just going to go with my brush sticks. It's just got some, had some green color on it. I don't know why. So I'm hoping it doesn't come through. We'll find out. I'll be mad. That was glitter. I can fix that. I can put that back in. Yeah, forgot about that already. Like I said, if it's something I can stick my fingers in, I do. Just the way it is. This is titanium white pan pastels. I've had this, I don't know how many years. I'm going to say probably close to 10. Honestly, I've been paper piecing a long time. Um, and I don't know when I finally figured out this. I don't know if it was on that same video that I watched years ago. I really don't know. But yeah, that's what this is. So, and this is just a brush sticks. They're okay. I since I've switched to my mini blending brushes, I much prefer those. I wish I might go back and try to find the one so I can show you the really little one I have. I just can blend better with those. Give me just a moment. I'm going to try to look again. It was nowhere near where I thought, but it's very tiny. I want to say maybe 3/16 of an inch or so. I even use it in the whites of the eyes and things. So yeah, it works. Like I said, it's just me. I have better luck blending with this than I do with the because this is a real hard spongy, and it works fine. I used it for a long time. It's just now it's like I said, I like this better. So um, anyway, I'm going to leave you. Bothered you long enough. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day. Take care.